And live from New York, this is Travel, Sing, Fly. Hello my dear ones from New York. Just before Christmas today I'm having a day off and we're gonna use that day to see how you can spend a really nice day in Manhattan, in New York, without spending too much money. And that's already a challenge by its own, right? So let's check it out. New York in one day, and we start here at the beautiful Grand Central Terminal. I'm Chris, a happy frequent flyer since I was a kid. Now as an opera singer and privately I travel even more, and Travel Sing Fly is all about airlines worldwide in economy, business and first class, presented with a critical but fair attitude. And we also visit worthwhile travel destinations on all continents with lots of helpful tips for better travel. Today we're exploring Manhattan in the air, on the ground and underground, and we're starting at Grand Central Terminal, where trains have been arriving since 1913. With over 60 underground tracks on 2 levels, it's not only the largest railway station in the world, but it's said to be also number 10 of the most visited tourist attractions in the world, passengers excluded. You don't need to book a hotel in Manhattan or Brooklyn to have a great vacation in New York, but you can also just have a nice accommodation in one of the suburbs of New York. They can be quite beautiful actually, and it's very fast to get into the city. About, in my case, 40 minutes will cost you $9 and maybe $13-14 in peak times, so that's really affordable, and it's also, as I said, reliable and fast. And of course we're starting with food on this channel. Union Square Market is normally a very nice fresh produce market here in New York, but right now it's Christmas time, right? So we have a nice Christmas market. We just have a look though, because prices here are of course insane in the middle of New York. However, the scenery is so nice. You even see the Empire State Building sometimes here in the very back. But I mean, buying regular fresh produce here is almost an investment, because when you look at the prices of mushrooms and beans, you just want to have a diet day. We're continuing over old cobblestone streets a few blocks south of the midtown skyscrapers to Chelsea Market. Chelsea Market is a really nice place for little flea market stands, like small boutiques, and then the little restaurants. They go from okay price to really expensive. And actually I just wanted to look around, but then I stopped here. I had to have some clam chowder. That reminds me of the time when I lived in Seattle for some time. That was really nice, and had a lot of clam chowder there. And in wintertime it makes you feel really warm inside. So, and on we go. Alternatively, and without a Christmas market but surrounded by skyscrapers, you could of course also start at Times Square, or for example here at Central Park, with another culinary highlight, a New York must-have that doesn't even taste great, but it's just part of the experience: Nathan's Hot Dogs. And I ordered also a chili cheese hot dog. Looks like this. Looks like totally all natural, I know. It's like chili con carne, chili inside, and cheese. Of course, all processed food tastes not fantastic, but it's just part of the New York experience. And it's $20 for 2 hot dogs, so that's crazy. That's crazy, but that's New York. But we are at Chelsea Market with beautiful Chelsea Triangle in front, and from here we're going for a short walk on the New York High Line, a walkway about 2 levels above the ground with a beautiful view of the streets and the city, with the houses are only a few levels high with a few exceptions in between. There's not many proofs anymore of the Dutch history of New York, but here we have one, Gansevoort Street. That's obviously a Dutch name. What used to be New Amsterdam is today New York, and there we have the Gansevoort Street. And that is the start of the Washington Street as well, that goes into all the villages, the West Village, the Greenwich Village, and also Soho. This used to be a very simple neighborhood. It's the meatpacking district, so that says it all already. But today it's very fancy. Behind me we have Saint Laurent, big store of Saint Laurent, so that also says a lot. You can walk a lot here without repeating yourself. Many beautiful boutiques and shops in all these low-rise buildings here. And if you walk all the way down, then you end up in the financial district with all the skyscrapers. And that's, of course, what we're going to check out today too. Actually, the most famous people who used to live here in the village, actually in the time when it used to be not so expensive, are, of course, the Friends. Behind me is the building of the Friends from the famous series. That was also really very nice for me to watch. And it's still quite good to watch in bad times especially. Makes you always happy. And just next door could be the houses from Sex and the City, right? All those very nice townhouses. I mean, unaffordable, but really quite something. And another really important spot in the village is Christopher Street. That's a street that gave Christopher Street Day its name. Behind me is the Stonewall Inn, the place where the movement started in 1969. And it's still very important that the movement goes on, I believe, because large parts of society still don't quite understand that sexuality has nothing to do with choosing something, but it's given. And nobody will choose a life that might be a little less easy than regular, if you want to call it regular. So there's still a lot to do, no matter Western, Eastern Hemisphere. People have to understand that this is really a private thing and it's not the matter of anybody else. Have the opportunity now to buy me some coffee and keep me awake during my long nights editing videos at home. Buy Me a Coffee is your chance to support my work with the amount of a cup of coffee. You can buy me one or more coffees and you can find the link in the top right of the window and in the video description. It's even easier with a super thank. You can find that directly under the video. I would be very happy because everything here is self-funded and really expensive to produce, and unfortunately tickets for the reports don't grow on trees for me either. Thank you so much for your support. She doesn't even know you need takes only a few minutes by express subway to get from the village to the financial district. And behind me you see one of the really famous churches, that's St. Paul Chapel. And behind that there's the even more famous monument, that's One World Trade Center, where there used to be the Twin Towers, is the One World Trade Center now, and Ground Zero. Of course, we're going to have a look at that in a moment. In my teen years, I visited even the old World Trade Center. There's photos of me with long hair still, of me on the roof of one of the two Twin Towers. Well, now there's Ground Zero, of course, after 9/11. They built two very impressive fountains. We're going to have a look at that. And that's one of the many things that you can see in New York just for free. There's so much to see here that you don't have to spend money for. Anyway, let's go there now. World Trade Center and Ground Zero. Next to the World Trade Center is this building here that looks like a whale skeleton, kind of. And that is actually the train station for the New Jersey trains. And opposite we have, of course, the One World Trade Center. That's the tower, the name of the new World Trade Center. Of course, you can go also up there to the observation deck up there. That's really expensive, but it's also quite worthwhile if you're here for the first time. And the great thing, you can see the Statue of Liberty on the one side, and then the other side you're going to see the Empire State Building, and you won't see that if you go on the observation desk of the Empire State Building, of course. But if you want to spend big money, you can see everything at once, namely with a helicopter flight around Manhattan. It took me really 30 years to finally get around to it, shortly after the pandemic and after many visits to New York, and the really high price almost made me shed a tear. But it was actually worth it. Here's a few impressions, and you write me now in the comments what you think about the incredible price, $299 plus tax. And very fitting, opposite of the beautiful Trinity Church here, are the temples of finance and money. That's Wall Street. It's very easy to get from the World Trade Center to the Staten Island Ferry through Wall Street. So you get to see Wall Street even now in Christmas with the Christmas tree and everything. And you're gonna see all the insignia of wealth and richness and money on the way to Staten Island Ferry, which is really fantastic, an absolute must, and almost for free. The Staten Island Ferry is actually a real highlight, and it used to be, I think, 50 cents per crossing. Today it's completely free, and it's really the best you can do here in New York. You have a fantastic view, the perfect view over Manhattan, and you can also see this. If you like this and the well over 100 flight and travel reports on the two Traversing Fly channels, then please give me a thumbs up, comment on the video and subscribe to the channel with the little bell next to it to make sure that you don't miss out on any of the exciting videos that are released here. You'll help the channel with all its free content to grow and become more visible. Keep looking around Traversing Fly, there's for sure a few more reports that are just the right ones for you. It's so great to have you here. By the way, it's super freezing cold here. Of course, all the real New Yorkers sit inside in the cabin where it's nice and warm, and all the tourists are out here, including myself. And of course, over there you also see the beautiful and famous Verrazano Bridge that just spans over the entrance to the New York Bay. So that was Staten Island Ferry. Isn't it really beautiful? And it's for free, and you see all of Manhattan so beautifully. And of course the best time of the day is just before sunset. Now in December, that is actually just after 3 o'clock, because sunset is really early here in December. And then you're gonna see all the city shining because the sunset is just reflecting in the glass facades of the skyscrapers. And you're gonna have Lady Liberty, also in beautiful sunset light, and the Brooklyn Bridge. Anyway, now it's really freezing cold, as you probably can see, and I'm starving actually, because I haven't had anything to eat for the whole day except for that little clam chowder. So let's go now to another place here, or another part of New York that is really pretty exciting, and you get really good food there too, and it's not expensive, and that is Chinatown. So when it comes to the culinary delights, you don't have to go to China. Actually, you get it all here. The seaweed salad is just fantastic, and so is the chicken soup. That's a spicy chicken soup with white noodles and lamb broth.
Just be careful, Paul. Let us open anything else. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you too. So the food there at this tiny spicy village restaurant was really fantastic, and I'm really warm again, so that's really great. And actually it looks inside so basic, to say the nicest about it. But like in China, it doesn't mean anything. It was really fantastic food. So I'm warm again, and we have to go to Little Italy. That's just around the corner, and that's always a great excuse to have some pizza.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
very easy to get to Times Square from all parts of New York and Manhattan, of course. And once you're here, it's just every time so impressive how it looks. I mean, I've been here so many times already in my life, and each time I'm really overwhelmed. I mean, look at this. You see, of course, here the Coca-Cola commercials with their very own Santa Claus that was actually invented by Coca-Cola, as you know, probably. And then all the other bright screens here, just really impressive. And since quite a few years now, we have also this year the stairs here where you can just go up and take pictures of yourself and Times Square in the background. Really, really very nice. And then there's also the screen for the ticket sales for Broadway theaters. So much to see at every time of the day and actually also of the night. Maybe not at 4 a.m., but for the rest, it's full of people. So, my dear ones, our New York City tour is ending in the same way as it started, and that is in bright light. Only that we are in pitch dark night right now, but we are on Times Square, and Times Square never sleeps, just as New York is the city that never sleeps. It's a great town. In summer, it's wonderful with all the warm evenings, very hot and humid days also. But now in Christmas time, it's also really special, really beautiful. I hope you really enjoyed this report. If yes, give me a thumbs up, write your comments, and subscribe to the channel, of course. And there's lots of further destination reports waiting for you from all continents of the world. And of course, also all the many airline reports here on the channel. I hope to see you there. And one really interesting report would be this one over there. Have a look at that right now and see you there here at Travel Sing Fly.